What if I told you that being broke has less to do with how much you earn and everything to do with how you think? Look around. Every day, millions of people wake up, go to work, earn money, and yet they remain stuck in the same financial position year after year. It's not bad luck, it's not the economy, and it's definitely not a lack of opportunity. According to Jim Rohn, the real reason most people stay broke is because they unknowingly follow habits and beliefs that keep them there. The truth is, wealth is not just a number in your bank account, it's a mindset, a discipline, and a way of life. And the scary part, most people never realize what's holding them back until it's too late. They repeat the same patterns, make the same mistakes, and wonder why nothing changes. But here's the good news: once you understand these patterns, you can break free, you can take control, you can rewrite your financial story. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to learn could completely change the way you think about money and your future. Lesson 1. Poor mindset keeps you trapped. The architecture of poverty is often built long before a single cent is spent or earned. It begins with the internal narrative, the quiet, persistent whispers that define what is possible for a person. Most people stay broke because they think small, operating within a mental framework of scarcity rather than abundance. They view the global economy as a finite pie, where one person's gain is necessarily another's loss. This zero-sum mentality creates a psychological ceiling. If you believe wealth is a fixed resource, you will naturally view successful individuals with resentment rather than curiosity, and you will fail to see the infinite opportunities for value creation that exist in the modern world. This mindset creates invisible limits that function like a high-voltage electric fence for the ambition. When you believe that money is scarce or that financial success is reserved for a special class of others, those born into privilege or endowed with supernatural luck, you subconsciously opt out of the game. This defeatist attitude is a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe you can't earn more, you won't even try to seek out the knowledge, networks, or projects that lead to higher income. You become a spectator in your own life, watching others achieve what you have already convinced yourself is impossible. Wealth starts in the mind as a vision of what could be, long before it shows up in reality as a balance in a bank account. Breaking free from a poor mindset requires a radical shift in how you perceive value. It involves moving from a consumer mindset to a producer mindset. Instead of asking, "How can I afford this?" a wealthy mindset asks, "How can I create enough value to earn this?" It is about understanding that money is simply a tool, a medium of exchange for the value you provide to the marketplace. When you stop viewing yourself as a victim of economic circumstances and start viewing yourself as a value creator, the invisible walls begin to crumble. You start to see that the only real limits are the ones you've placed on your own imagination and your willingness to execute on your ideas. Furthermore, the poor mindset is often reinforced by one's immediate environment. We are social creatures, and if everyone in our inner circle reinforces the idea that life is hard, and the rich get richer while the poor get poorer, it becomes incredibly difficult to maintain a different perspective. Overcoming this requires the courage to be an outlier. It involves auditing your influences, the books you read, the podcasts you listen to, and the people you spend time with. To change your financial reality, you must first cultivate a mental environment where success is viewed as a logical outcome of strategy and effort, rather than a stroke of lightning that only hits the lucky few. Lesson 2. Lack of discipline destroys wealth. Financial failure is rarely a problem of insufficient math. It is almost always a problem of insufficient discipline. It's not about how much you make, it's about what you do with it. We see this play out constantly with lottery winners and professional athletes who earn millions only to end up in bankruptcy within a few years. Their downfall isn't a lack of income, but a lack of the internal fortitude required to manage that income. Many people earn enough to live comfortably and build a legacy, but they spend everything they have, and often more than they have, in a desperate attempt to signal a status they haven't actually earned. Discipline is the bridge between earning and keeping. It is the ability to delay gratification today so that you can have security and freedom tomorrow. In a world designed to keep you spending, discipline is a superpower. Every advertisement, social media algorithm, and peer pressure-fueled trend is engineered to separate you from your capital. Without a disciplined plan, you are merely a conduit through which money flows from your employer to the pockets of corporations. Discipline allows you to say no to the shiny, fleeting pleasures of the present in favor of the enduring power of invested capital. Without this bridge, even a high income leads to a broke life. This is the phenomenon of lifestyle creep, where every raise in salary is immediately met by a corresponding raise in expenses. A person earning $250,000 a year who spends $250,000 is just as broke as someone earning $40,000 who spends $40,000. In fact, they are often in more danger, as their overhead is higher and their fall will be harder. True wealth is the money you don't spend. It is the assets you accumulate that work for you while you sleep. Discipline is the gatekeeper that determines whether your money is a one-time guest or a permanent employee in your financial empire. Cultivating this discipline requires a systematic approach to money management. It means living on a budget not because you are restricted but because you are in control. It means automating your savings and investments so that the decision to build wealth is made once, rather than every time you receive a paycheck. Discipline is about character. It is the daily practice of honoring the promises you made to your future self. When you master your impulses, you master your money. If you cannot control your spending when you have a little, you will never be able to control it when you have a lot. Lesson 3. Comfort zones kill growth. The comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. People stay broke because they choose comfort over growth, prioritizing the safety of the known over the potential of the unknown. They seek the security of a steady paycheck and a predictable routine, failing to realize that in a rapidly changing world, the most secure path is often the most dangerous. By avoiding risks and fearing change, they settle for just enough to pay the bills, just enough to get by, and just enough to stay exactly where they were last year. Growth only happens when you step outside what's familiar. The human brain is wired for survival, which means it is wired to avoid discomfort and perceived threats. However, in the modern economic landscape, safety is an illusion. The industry you work in could be disrupted tomorrow. Your job could be automated next year. The only true security is your ability to adapt, learn, and perform. Financial success requires discomfort. It requires the willingness to be a beginner again, to face the possibility of failure, and to endure the social awkwardness of doing something different than the crowd. Bold decisions are the catalysts for wealth. Whether it is starting a side business, investing in a volatile market, or asking for a high-stakes promotion, these actions require a departure from the comfort zone. Most people are so afraid of losing what they have that they never reach for what they could become. They are playing not to lose instead of playing to win. But wealth is rarely built on the defensive. It is the result of offensive moves, calculated risks taken by those who have accepted that discomfort is the price of admission for a life of extraordinary freedom. To expand your financial horizons, you must intentionally seek out challenges that stretch your capabilities. This might mean investing in your education, even when you're tired after work, or networking with people who make you feel like the poorest person in the room. If you are the smartest or most successful person in your circle, your growth has likely plateaued. Pushing past the boundaries of your comfort zone is a skill that can be developed. Each time you face a fear or tackle a difficult task, your growth muscle gets stronger, making the next bold decision easier to execute. Lesson 4. Blaming others blocks progress. The most toxic habit a person can develop is the habit of externalizing their failures. Blaming the government, your job, your parents, or your past keeps you stuck in a perpetual state of victimhood. While it is true that systemic issues and unfair advantages exist, focusing on them provides zero utility for your personal advancement. When you point the finger at external forces, you are essentially saying that your life is not under your control. You are surrendering your agency to the very things you are complaining about, ensuring that you remain a passenger in a vehicle driven by someone else. Responsibility is power. It is the foundational principle of all self-improvement. The moment you take full ownership of your financial situation is the moment you gain the control necessary to change it. This doesn't mean that everything that happened to you is your fault, but it does mean that everything that happens next is your responsibility. By accepting that I am where I am because of the choices I've made and the actions I've taken, you simultaneously realize that I can go somewhere else by making different choices and taking different actions. People who achieve great wealth tend to have an internal locus of control. They believe that they are the primary architects of their fate. When things go wrong, they don't look for a scapegoat, they look for a lesson. They ask, what did I miss? Or how can I be better prepared next time? This proactive stance allows them to iterate and improve. Conversely, the chronic blamer stays stuck in the same cycle because they never address the one variable they actually have the power to change themselves. Blame is a sedative that numbs the pain of failure but prevents the surgery of growth. Taking ownership requires a high degree of humility. It means admitting that your current financial state is a reflection of your current financial knowledge and habits. It means looking in the mirror and acknowledging that you are the problem and therefore you are also the solution. This realization is both terrifying and liberating. Once you stop waiting for the government to pass a law, for your boss to give you a raise, or for the economy to fix itself, you are finally free to get to work. Your progress is no longer held hostage by the whims of others. Lesson 5. No personal development, no progress. There is a direct, undeniable correlation between your internal value and your external net worth. Your income rarely exceeds your level of personal growth. Many people spend 40 years waiting for their income to go up, but they haven't spent 40 minutes a day improving the skills that would make them worth more to the marketplace. They have 1 year of experience repeated 40 times rather than 40 years of cumulative growth. If you don't invest in learning, skills, and self-improvement, your results will stay the same because you are staying the same. The marketplace does not pay for your time, it pays for the value you bring to that time. A heart surgeon earns more than a dishwasher not because they work harder. In fact, the dishwasher's work may be more physically grueling, but because the surgeon has spent years developing a rare and highly valuable skill set. The more you grow, the more you earn. This is the law of professional compensation. Personal development is the process of becoming the kind of person who is capable of attracting the wealth you desire. It involves sharpening your mind, mastering your emotions, and expanding your technical expertise. Investing in yourself is the only investment with a guaranteed infinite return. Markets can crash, currencies can devalue, and real estate can sit vacant, but the skills and knowledge you carry within your mind can never be taken away. Whether it's learning a new language, mastering digital marketing, or studying the principles of investing, every bit of knowledge you acquire is a brick in the foundation of your future wealth. The most successful people in the world are obsessive learners. They read voraciously, seek out mentors, and are constantly looking for ways to upgrade their internal software. If you want to change your life, you must change your daily inputs. If you spend your evenings watching mindless entertainment, you are essentially voting for your current situation to continue. However, if you dedicate that time to personal development, you are casting a vote for a different, more prosperous future. Progress is not an accident. It is the result of a deliberate, ongoing commitment to becoming a better version of yourself. As you expand your capacity to solve problems, lead people, and manage resources, the world will naturally reward you with the financial abundance that reflects your new level of mastery. At the end of the day, staying broke is rarely about circumstances, it's about choices. The choices you make daily, the habits you repeat, and the beliefs you carry shape your financial reality. Jim Rohn often said that success is something you attract by the person you become, and that means if you want a different financial future, you must become a different person. Think about it. What if you changed your mindset? What if you became more disciplined, took responsibility, stepped out of your comfort zone, and committed to constant growth? Your life wouldn't just improve, it would transform. The path to wealth isn't hidden, it's just ignored by most people because it requires effort, patience, and consistency. But you're not most people. You now understand what holds others back, and more importantly, how to avoid it. So the real question is, what will you do next? Will you go back to old habits, or will you take the first step toward a new financial future? The decision is yours. And that decision could change everything.